My name is Susan Spring, and I'm the Executive Director of Regina Chaley Child Development Center. And I am preparing this video to provide information about our possible cuts to the program that we will have to make as a result of the mandated sequestration that has been given to us by Congress and the Senate. And I have prepared some slides that you will be able to read as I talk that will tell you examples of the many things that we are considering at this point. We are looking at every possibility, any way possible to be able to make cuts to the program, to the number of days, to the number of children, to try to come up with the amount of money that we have to cut. So I'm going to go through each one of these and we'll talk about the impact that it's going to have on the program. First of all, I can tell you that we have learned that there is the possibility that this will last for the next 10 years. We just learned this last week, and so we don't know what that means for us as well, other than that after this year there will continue to be more cuts. The goal eventually is to cut the entire federal budget, not just Head Start, but all of the money that is spent in the federal budget. So let's look at some of the ideas that we have, and we'll go through each one of these. First of all, the 5% cut that has been mandated to us equals about $680,000 from our budget of just over $13 million. There are different budget categories that we will be able to cut that equal anywhere. We could cut 5 to 25% of some of the different budget categories that are flexible. Things like supplies for our classrooms, supplies for outdoor learning, our office supplies, mental health supplies. We can cut 5% to 25% of field trip category, our parent activities, and even travel, whether it's for children, staff, or parents. All of those are areas that we have control over how much we spend. Another example where we can't cut is that we don't have control over how much we spend on our mortgages for our buildings because we've committed to make those payments over a long time, a number of years. Some more ideas that have been suggested include eliminating the early Head Start home-based services in the summer. That would mean that we would have savings from the salaries and fringe benefits for those people who would typically work in the summer and provide the early Head Start home-based service, their travel reimbursements that are incurred as they make their home visits, and then any supplies that would be purchased for the early Head Start home-based services. Another example of ideas includes cutting the bus service, either all buses or just partially, maybe only where we have 2 buses. Again, the savings from cutting bus service would include the salary and fringe benefits for those people that are involved in providing bus service, the fuel that would not be used, any supplies that are needed for the buses, and then the insurance that we are required to maintain on the buses that are driven. Some more ideas include the possibility of closing some classrooms or maybe even an entire center. About 5% of the number of Head Start slots that we provide is around 80 children or 4 classrooms, and it would equal about 2 early Head Start classrooms. Other classrooms that might be closed include the dual language classroom in Livingston, our LA4 classrooms at the Central Tangi Head Start Center. We have partnerships with Tangibo School Systems at Woodland Park and Midway, and also plans to open a classroom at Little Pearl Elementary in Pearl River. And I want to make sure you know that what we are doing by listing these ideas is trying to list every possibility that's on the table. Some of these obviously are lower priority than others. for making the cuts. Another idea that has been discussed is to reduce the number of service days that we provide services to children at the centers. In Head Start, for example, the minimum number of required days that we must provide service is 160 days. This current year, we're providing 166 days. The minimum number of days for Early Head Start is 180 days, and that is what we're serving this year. If we were to cut the summer services, we would either have to get permission to go below 180 or to find a way to add them during the year and provide those services at the centers. If we close centers or classrooms, then of course we're going to have staff who would also lose their jobs. Another idea is to close all centers and then all staff be furloughed for 6 days during the year. We could do 3 at the beginning of the year, 3 at the end of the year, or all 6 at the end of the year. By doing that and including the days together, that would allow those employees who draw unemployment in the summer to then be eligible for unemployment for those days as well. Some more ideas include that we would furlough all 12-month employees for 5 days during the summer, that the specialist positions could be made 11-month positions, that we could reduce the number of staff who work in June and July to only be those who are absolutely required to work in June and July, since we would possibly not be serving any children in the summer. And we can also return Head Start teachers to an hourly pay rather than salaried. If we were to close some classrooms, we could then also pilot adding what we call child care for pay in those empty classrooms, and this would allow us to bring in extra money. If we were to allow empty classrooms to be filled with children whose parents pay for child care, those children would receive no Head Start services. They would receive quality child care that we do all the time. It would require those centers to be open longer hours and to have fewer holidays to meet the needs of the parents who are paying for child care. In closing, I want to make sure that you know I have not received the exact dollar amount of the cut that will be made in our grant for next year. What we do know is that 5% of our grant equals about $680,000. I also have not been told when we are to submit our plan, but what we do know is that these cuts are effective when our grant year starts on June 1st. And so it is my intention to work with the management staff now and the board of directors to make sure that we're making sound business decisions and that we're considering all options that are possible. I will work to ensure that Regina Celli continues to provide quality services to children and families, and that we continue to do what is best for children. I encourage you to send me any and all of your ideas and questions, and the final decisions will be announced as soon as we know what we are to do. I thank you for your support, and let's all work together as a team and we will be fine.